little change of pace because one, it was super hot outside. Two, it was so hot I literally had an ice pack for my laptop and it was just not going anywhere. But I was enjoying outside, decided to come inside, and Aries is right here, so he needs to hello. My dog, by the way. Alright, so jumping on, saying hello. It has been quite a minute since one, I've done a Facebook Live. It's been quite a while. Normally if I do lives, I like TikTok in a sense because when I do lives, unless I have something of intention, like today, actually speaking of which, I have my notes. Facebook Live is really good for something specific on my mind, or Instagram. When it comes to YouTube, those are more very intentional videos or training, rather than TikTok is just kind of like, hey, how's it going? Chit-chatting, I'm streaming, I'm talking to other people. So I did a whole post, my whole M&E 819 segment. This month was all about how I use different platforms, why I hang out on different platforms, especially in the digital day and age. So it's been a little while, so I'm saying hello. Also, my Facebook and my Instagram really has been, it's a mix. I do have some industry friends, event connections, but a lot of them really are still friends, family, people that know me on a personal level, and they don't really care what I do in business. But more and more, I am finding people, connecting with people that are using events for their business. So, or they're just entrepreneurs. I mean, I connect with other like-minded people. So here I am. One, wanted to reshare that today we are just chit-chatting. I want to talk about different ways that I use my business and what I talk about sustainability before scalability. And secondly, why I use different platforms in the way that I do. And that way I can stay connected with the different people and different relationships that I have across different platforms, right? So, hello, say hi. I don't know who's watching. Let's see. I might have a little like back channel. Let me see. But either way, here we are. Drop a comment, say hello. I'm going to dive into the 5 ways that I use what I call sustainability for my business before scalability. And in entrepreneurship, we see a lot about how to scale your business, how to get to the next level, how to go from here to here. All super important, and we're all going across our entrepreneurship journeys in different ways, at different speeds, with different vehicles. But I have really chosen the path of what I call sustainability. This is my career path. I've been in events. If you're watching this and you have known me anytime since before I was 15 years old, I knew that I'd be working events. Now, what I knew back then about events are a lot different now, and the industry changes. I grow up, I get more hands-on experience, but I knew, at least in some capacity, back in high school, that I wanted to be in events. So this, for me, has been a career path. And entrepreneurship can really be a lot of different things for different people. Some people, they find a hobby, they find their passion, they go for it, and then they realize, oh, I'm running a business, and so they're doing all the other things that entrepreneurship has, such as networking and business management and marketing and the sales, and not just specific to doing the thing that you're good at doing in the first place. So that's a whole nother topic on follow your passion and follow your dreams. Yes, I believe and I'm an advocate doing what you love, but there's also a whole nother component, a whole different life as to being mindful of, do you want to do it and why you do it. And so anyway, I am just so grateful for the past 5 years. In some ways, they flew by. In other ways, it has been such a roller coaster. So I'm going to drop my 5 ways that I have then built a career path using my entrepreneurship journey, right? And there's kind of this progression of, you can be an employer, Absolutely, I'm a big advocate. A lot of my clients actually are 9 to 5. A lot of my clients and who I work with and my background is working with employees. And that's fine. My own husband, he loves being an employee. He likes going to work. He works on helicopters. He cannot bring those helicopters home. So he goes to work. He gets his work done. He leaves the helicopters. He does not bring the helicopters here to continue to work on those helicopters. He leaves it. He comes back home, and we move on. Me, on the other hand, my entrepreneurship journey and my business is a part of my 24/7. I actually have a little sign on my desk, mind open 24/7. So with that said, my brain doesn't shut off. That's also why I don't actually charge hourly. Again, a whole nother segment on how I choose to charge for my services. Because I've been doing this for 14 years now, it's not just a matter of the hours that you work, it's all the hours and years collected so that you can do the thing that you do effectively and in not so many hours. And so that's a whole nother segment as well. So I'm talking about mindset, entrepreneurship. This is now my 5th trip around the sun, as I call it. I don't know why I wish people a happy birthday that way. 1 year is 1 trip around the sun. I don't know, I just like that analogy. I literally feel like I'm on a journey going around the sun. So, with that said, okay, high level, I'm going to just list them out. I'm not going to make you wait. If you want to stick around, cool, but I get it. I'm going to list off the 5 ways, and then I just want to chat about it. So, let me know. I don't know if anybody jumps on, but just let me know. Acknowledge if you're here so I can say hello. If not, no worries. Okay, so, number 1. Actually, I'm going to go backwards. Let me go backwards. So 5 into the number 1. So number 5, letting go to grow. Number 4, finding fulfillment beyond the wallet. Number 3, I know I have my little cheat sheet, just bear with me. Number 3 is building intentional relationships. It's building intentional relationships professionally, personally, and creating that ecosystem. So that's number 3. Number 2 is to, continue to execute and learn and continue to expand your skill set and do the things that got you excited to do the things, which is execution, not just teaching, not just coaching, but actually getting into and executing. That's why I vlog so much, doing what I do so that I can stay updated on the trends and what's happening. And number 1, live the moments along the way. All right, so I'm gonna break each of these down, but each one of them have really something of intention of how, before I'm worried about scaling out, and I do have team members and I have event success managers, and then I bring on team members for these events. So that's about scaling out and being able to have a system, which is my masterclass in events, and helping others to create their systems and their effectiveness in a way that they can scale. But before we can get to scaling, we want to talk about how can we create that sustainability. And that's by creating the foundation. And yes, that does take time. And so if you're looking for something quick, get rich quick sort of thing, I want fame and fortune overnight, I want to be an authority overnight, this is not for you. Just log off. Just hit exit. Yes, I'm Italian. Yes, I talk with my hands. So if this is distracting, bear with me because I talk with my hands. All right, so let's break those down a bit more. All right, number 5, letting go to grow. I'm a storyteller in a way. I'm not the best storyteller, but I'm going to paint a picture. Letting go to grow. Back when I was in high school, and I knew that I wanted to be in events, what I knew about events was, oh, they're fun, I like people, I'm semi-organized, I can collect all the things that I need to do. And so, even before ever going to a wedding, I don't really know how this formulated, but ever even going to a wedding, I was like, I want to be a wedding planner. I was set on being a wedding planner. I watched Whose Wedding Is It Anyway? I think it was TLC who produced it. I watched that show every single day, and I was, yep, that is it. So fast forward, and went to college. I graduated from Penn State. I studied and worked really as a concentration just on event planning, project management, and I knew that I wanted to work events, but I did not want to work at one venue. So I was very specific as to where I wanted to work, what I wanted, what I thought and envisioned my career to look like, right? And I laugh now, but all stepping stones. And so I did. I went to school, I took my internships, and I worked weddings. And so ultimately, I coordinated weddings in one way or another for 11 years. And it was great. And I even created, through that, what I call DIY Bridal Academy. Some of you may recognize from when I did weddings. And growing up, I say growing up, but really it was from high school through college, through young professionalism. That was my brand. Even though I was working in corporate, as I was working my bigger corporate 9-to-5 job, I didn't really have to create a brand for myself. I was working there, and my employees knew me, and my coworkers knew what I did, but I didn't really have to network or build a brand about that. So instead, my external brand was wedding planning, and so it was great, and I ended up facilitating, coordinating many weddings. I actually did our high school principal, we did his wedding, well, not his wedding, the daughter's wedding, so sorry, clarification. His daughter's wedding, a couple classmates out of state. So what was interesting was through that, I built this whole process of how to plan your wedding, how to attract and help these brides along the way. And then it hit me, long story short, it was fulfilling, but I reached a point, and I remember specifically I put up a survey, and I put a picture of me putting on a boutonniere, and then I put another picture of me working a corporate event, which nobody really knew or cared to know at the time. That's what I was doing in corporate and getting paid to do on the event side. And I just asked my audience, I asked at the time, like, how do you associate my name? And it was 50-50. So that was so interesting because 50% of the people that knew me and followed me associated with weddings, and the other 50% with corporate events and monetizing their events and the trade shows and working with the sales team. And it was eye-opening, and I gave myself a goal that by age 30, I would decide which way I wanted to go. And so long story short, even though I've done so much and I love the weddings, and in a way they will still hold a special place in my heart. If you know me, if you're a good friend, if you're family, or if you really, really are looking for someone for a wedding, let me know. I either have connections, we'll talk about it, but the point being, the other 50%, it was like, wait a minute, which way do I want to go? And people told me, oh, you gotta niche down, you have to choose one or the other. It's like, no, it's marketing and events, I can do it all, That was in my 20s. So, anyway, I know this is the story. If nobody else is watching this is, if anything, it helps to talk it out. So, that letting go to grow was a pivotal time for us in my business, where when we moved to Maryland, which was 2018, it helped to define, one, working weddings. It really is a very geographical thing. It's very much what venues are available, what photographers and florists, and who do you know and have relationships. So the wedding business is very geographical, right? Which is fine, completely fine. So when we moved in 2018, and I really asked myself, where do I see M&E, marketing and events? And I was already doing the business to business and the conferences, and really dabbing my foot back then on the international conferences. And that's when I made a decision. And so it was hard. And those that are along this journey, and I vlog, so if you watch my vlogs either on the stories or TikTok, if you don't know, I've been vlogging since 2004. And so that was a big pivot to let go of the wedding side of things so that I could grow the business side of the business, right? And the B2B. And that's completely fine if there are event professionals that do both, or different businesses that are still able to serve. I just personally reached a point where I needed to make a decision. Which way? Do I want to do social events and weddings, or with my background coming from corporate, managing the marketing department, being a project manager, and understanding why businesses use events, there was a gap that I felt called to really fill that gap. So that's my long-winded answer as to number 5. When you can learn how to let go so that you can grow, that is one level of creating that sustainability so that you can continue to scale. Whew, that felt good. All right, by the way, take a drink. Cheers, say hello. If you're in the comments, I don't know who's jumping in. The thing is, how I have this set up, by the way, I have my little studio-ish, if that's what we want to call it, and then I have my desk over there, so you're actually really, really far. Anybody commenting, I don't see any hot topics coming in. That's over there, and I have my little camera here, so it's a whole setup. Check out my Instagram or TikTok if you want more behind the scenes and how I set that up, but you won't believe what this actually is. I give that little secret in my vlog. So, all right, moving on. All right, okay, so number 4. I'm going backwards, by the way. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 4 is finding fulfillment beyond the wallet. A lot of people, they may call this your why. Figure out why you do it. And yes, okay, the wallet is important. I understand money is a tool and it's a vehicle to get us through life and to get us the things to build the lifestyle. Literally, it is a tool to help us build a lifestyle that we so desire. That in itself is a quote. Well, I made up that quote. But it's something that resonates with me because I actually had a manager when I first decided to go out on my own. I was working, for someone else. I was an employee. And I decided, I was just hitting that roadblock. I was not getting the fulfillment. I was not seeing the future in what I was doing at that time, and I was not getting fulfillment. So what I did, go back to number 5, I was coordinating weddings, which I loved, and they were nights and weekends. It was not affecting my 9 to 5 at all by any means. And so what happened was, as I started to scale out and helping other people, I was doing fundraising events, community events, I was coordinating weddings, again, all my 9 to 5, and there created this tension because even though it was on my off time, there was this, not even miscommunication, but misalignment. And so that opportunity wanted something else from my time and foresaw what they could create. And specifically the quote when I gave my resignation was, "We could have given you the lifestyle you so desire." That still hits me, like years later. We could have provided you the lifestyle you so desire. And that really hit me because I knew that I was making the right decision, because in fact, it was not providing me the lifestyle that I so desire. And even if there was opportunity growth and what the opportunities were with that opportunity, it was not where I wanted to be. There's a reason why I had left and wanted to grow, and I wanted to fill the gap that I wanted to fulfill in the event industry and why I do what I do and love connecting with people. And so finding that fulfillment fulfillment beyond the wallet. Where, yes, had I stayed in corporate, I was on a certain career path. And I was really given some great opportunities, mentorship, and I'm so grateful for all of those connections, all of the mentorship along the way. It just was not in alignment of the fulfillment that I wanted beyond the wallet. And so the wallet absolutely is a part of having a full wallet is great. But finding the fulfillment to fill the wallet along the way is, to me, is super important. And that mindset of finding what brings me fulfillment so that I can fill the wallet. And to do that, it was very difficult, at least for me, how I'm wired, how my brain is built, that I needed to find what is it that I can find fulfillment in and find that harmony. We talk about work-life balance. I use the word harmony. That, again, that's another whole segment on mindset and entrepreneurship. But what I'm talking about here is finding what brings me fulfillment is quality time with my family. Being able to either visit my family, take time off on a random Tuesday because I decided to stay up and work all the way through the night on Thursday. Like finding that flexibility. Meeting the people that I otherwise wouldn't have opportunities to meet brings me fulfillment. One of my favorite things that I get to do is I work with people virtually. Even before the whole pandemic, I was working with people virtually. I connect with them. And then the moment I get to meet them in real life is one of my greatest things that I get to do with what I have to, what my career does, right? And so finding that fulfillment and finding the ways, and then I will fill my wallet by finding the fulfillment. I actually have a great testimonial, and I will share it, reshare it, where I was having a conversation with someone, brought her to tears. And through our conversation, because she was working with a nonprofit, and as we know, some nonprofits, you have to love what you do. And there is a fine line. I'm not a business coach. I'm not a money or financial coach. And so, yes, I understand, like I said a few minutes ago, money is a tool to build the life we so desire. So having this conversation with this woman who works for this nonprofit, and she was really kind of stuck in a hard place because she loves what she does, and she was getting by. And really that was the question is, are you using, is it more about filling the wallet and finding fulfillment in a full wallet, or finding fulfillment in your life? And we had that conversation, and it kind of hit her that she, even if she had something else that could fill her wallet more so, she loved what she did and she was passionate, so she was living a fulfilled life, being able to fill her wallet. And so that has to be a part of the conversation. So that was just, I will always remember that conversation. So number 2, to find sustainability, here's the thing. Money comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Fulfillment is how I remember, and the memories, and the fulfillment is what keeps me going. So the money comes and goes. I have bills. We have things to do. We're actually in the process of hopefully buying this home that we've been renting, and we've decided that we would like to stay here a bit longer. And money comes and goes. It's the fulfillment, right, that's going to get us out of bed in the morning. It's what brings us fulfillment along the way to reach those goals. And when things get hard, it's why I remember what brings me fulfillment. All right, I know, I'm yapping. Take a drink, say hello. I have not done one of these in quite some time. I know people don't stick around for the whole time. I don't blame you, it's fine. If anything, I gotta get it off my head. This is also why I love the TikTok lives. And thank you to all my TikTok people. I don't think there are many of my TikTok people here on Facebook, because it's a completely different platform. My conversations yes, I kind of have the intention, or at least have talking points, what I want to talk about. My TikTok people, I love all of them. They're just saying hello. Literally, I'm streaming, I jump on there, I say hi, I get ready in the morning, it gives me intention. I don't know, it's just a different feeling. So if you're not already on TikTok, that's fine. It's fine, but you might be missing out. Not just on my lives. I mean, I'm finding new artists, new music. I just love TikTok. I love TikTok. All right, what are we on? We did 5, we did 4, we're now on 3. Building relationships, intentional relationships, and your ecosystem with intention. I love this one. This is almost, I mean, we're at number 3, so there are 2 more things ahead of this, but this is honestly what has helped me leverage and really bringing the sustainability of my career and who I am as a person so that I can scale. And this takes time. This is not what the fast track entrepreneurs and fill your wallet and get quick money. And if you want to build sustainability, create an ecosystem. I'm going to explain what that means in my own terminology, I mean. Oh my gosh, I'm going to rewatch this and be like, wow, what a tangent. All right, so here comes Artie. He's going to say hi. Hey, you can close that door, by the way. Thank you. Goodbye. All right, so building out the ecosystem. This in itself, this is either in business and also in my personal life. And how do they intertwine, right? And on my website, marketingandevents.com, so marketing and like Nicole, events.com, I have a 1-minute video and I explain specifically in the event world what the ecosystem looks like. So you have your event hosts, you're up here, right? And you're putting on the event, you're the organizer, you're whoever is putting on that event, which is a platform. The way that the audience can connect with other people, the host. Over here, we have our ticket holders. We have the ones attending the event. And many, many times you have your event host is very clear how they're going to attract and serve their audience over here. What happens is we then have contributors for some events. These are the type of events, I'm just bringing the analogy, painting the picture, but we have contributors, which are your speakers, your sponsors, your exhibitors, your service providers, your AV, your staffing, your volunteers. You have all the contributors, right? 1, 2, and 3. And so the ecosystem is not just a one-way relationship, right? A one-way communication would be host to the attendees. Well, how does the attendees communicate back to the stage? How can the attendees then engage with the organizer and experience that, right? Then we also have the contributors, and how do your sponsors and your exhibitors and your speakers and all of the moving parts contribute and engage and create this relationship back to the organizer, right? Then we have down here, this is also a broken gap. What happens is a lot of times the event host is very clear, the customer journey, the experience to build this bridge. This one's depends. Depends if it's a sustainable event, if they're just creating those sponsors and it's more transactional. But once you get that bridge and creating the ecosystem of your contributors, your organizers, now we have that. What about down here? So what about the speakers and the sponsors and your exhibitors, and why are they attending and coming back to a sustainable event? Is they want to connect with a mutual audience, which is over here. And vice versa, to have that bridge of why does the audience come back to those speakers? Why does the audience, do they care about the sponsors and the exhibitors? Or is there misalignment? That is our ecosystem, okay? In the event world. You can apply it to whatever space you're in, right? I had a call today, and they're in the health care. And so they're providing services, right, and information, and they need to connect with the people, like us, people, who are seeking health care, right, or health and wellness, right, the person. But then you have the healthcare providers, you have the dentists and the chiropractors and the nutritionists and the massage therapists, and they're over here, right? So same thing, you have who is going to serve the seeker, the healthcare seeker, and who's going to provide that, right? So still, whatever the industry, whatever it is, I'm painting a picture here of creating an ecosystem. And then you have your personal life, like I just talked about for several minutes straight on the event ecosystem. I'm talking, what about your personal ecosystem? Whew, I need a drink, hold on. So, with that, you have your family, your friends, your inner circle, right here. And if you're someone like myself, I have a lot of acquaintances. I love meeting people around the world. I may meet them, they impact my life in one way or another. They're all the way here. Like, this circle is like huge, right? I literally get paid to meet people for a living. It's awesome and I love it. Some people, terrifying. But for me, I like it. They're all the way here, right? So what's the ecosystem of the difference of my close people versus who is in my circle, who's impacting my life, but in a different way. And these may be people that I care about. They might get a birthday card when I remember, they might get a phone call or a text, but I also may not have seen them, especially in the past year, because even though we care about one another, we haven't even made a video conference call, right? And so you have some of these people that you care about them, when you think of them top of mind, if you go visit their city, yeah, sure, a nice coffee or lunch will be nice, but they're not necessarily influencing the life or being a part of your day-to-day. Then you have, people that have impacted you along the way, right? So anyway, what I'm getting at is you have this different ecosystem, and to be mindful of building out those relationships, and this is something that takes effort. I mean, even for someone that, look, I run my business, I have my team members, I have my clients, that in itself, and then I have my network, right? Who's within that ecosystem? How am I serving my strategic partners versus how I'm serving my clients and how I'm serving my team members? I call them team members, by the way. They are people that either work with me, they're not working for me, they're working with the ecosystem, right? Now I manage them, but with that said, you have your ecosystem and then you have your personal and the people in your life. And it's okay that people come and go, and to prioritize what that looks like. So being able to understand what my ecosystem looks like and being able to show up and really serve my ecosystem on my personal level and then on the business level. I know I'm chit-chatting this. I don't care if nobody else ever watches this. This helps me talk things through. I hope somebody gets a nugget or two. We'll probably take the video and do something fun with it. But this in itself is what brings me enjoyment and fulfillment. And so thank you for tapping in, saying hello. But don't you worry, I will definitely take this video and kind of make it into micro content. I'm sure there's some little nuggets. That's another thing, side tangent. I talk in conversation. I talk. When I feel comfortable about a certain topic and when I can just like get into my flow, right? And for so long I was like, oh, one, do I make sense? Two, I've actually had people of influence or management and authority like, I don't understand what you're trying to communicate. So this has taken years and time, And it's okay that a lot of times I have my thought process and I gotta communicate it outward. And then sometimes I have to revisit and rethink how I'm going to communicate what's up here outwardly. So I appreciate, and I've had conversations with my other friends and strategic partners, and some people can follow along and we just like chit chat, we like bounce one idea and then it goes to another topic and then this topic goes off topic, and that's what I say, that's a little quote that I share, is there is no off topic when you talk to Michelle Nicole. When you talk with me, there's no such thing as off topic. And that's actually something, when I talk to certain people or whatever it may be, that's so off topic. That in itself, I'm like, well, I saw the correlation, I saw this segue, and then you feel like you have to explain whatever the segue is. There's no off topic when you're talking to me. Because even if I don't understand the segue, there was clearly something that made you think of a thing to share for that segue. All right. Wow. By the way, you guys are way, way, way over there, and I don't think, I'm getting some people popping in saying hi, but I don't see any like triggering comments. So say hello. Say hello. But if you want actual conversation, by the way, number one is either TikTok. I have conversation with people. That's so much fun. And two, Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, that is more of a conversation platform. That's actually a really good thing that I want to share too. And I know that I'm kind of talking about the whole topic is 5 things for sustainability before scalability. But what I'm getting at is I use these different platforms in different ways. And so Clubhouse truly is a conversation back and forth. What I was just talking about with the ecosystem, where there's a stage to the audience. And right now, as a broadcast, I call this a broadcast, where I am talking to the audience, whether there are comments coming backwards, right? But it's not truly a two-way communication. And that's where something like Clubhouse has been awesome, because you really do get that two-way communication versus a training video or a vlog where I'm just kind of broadcasting outwardly, where a two-way communication, Clubhouse, or having a chat feature can kind of have that two-way interaction. All right, so having an ecosystem, and I just want to close out here talking about the ecosystem in that you have, okay, in sense of business. Let me take one more sip. How we doing? What is going on? All right. We're coming up about 45 minutes here, so I know people may not be watching this whole thing. That's completely fine. But talking about the ecosystem, and what I kind of want to close out is, this is how you serve not only your clients, but who is in your environment. So I actually use a system. This is what either I train on and work with my clients if they don't have a way to say, okay, you're number ones, I need more information. I have no idea who you are. I don't know how I can best serve you. I don't know how you are going to be impactful, in my environment, right? I have no idea who you are. Number ones. Number twos are your typical leads. Are you a cold lead, a warm lead, a hot lead, right? Typically, that's kind of where people are trained on leads. Cold, warm, hot. The number threes are my current clients, my current relationships, and either I'm looking to extend that contract or move forward or renew the contract, whatever it may be. Number fours are my strategic partners. I never pitch to my strategic partners. These are my collaborators. These are other event professionals. These are people I'm sharing the stage with when I do these talks. And let me share. This is a little tangent, what's on my mind. If you check out any of the speaking talks or panels, that's where you have an MC. You have somebody to moderate the conversation. I am one person talking outward. When you have a conversation, when you're sharing the stage with your strategic partners and you have a moderator, you can bounce off one another. You can continue the conversation in a structured flow. So my number fours, those are people that I collaborate with. These are other event professionals. These are MCs. These are virtual mixologists, these are magicians, these are people that are producing events, they are people that work with other speakers. I could go on and on and on. They are marketers, they are sales trainers. All these people are in my network, and I want to continue to serve them and vice versa, make introductions, provide checklists, give a resource, whatever it may be. In return, we are building a strong relationship, and when I'm out of the room, they are keeping Michelle Nicole McNabb's name up front and center when it comes to events, and vice versa. And so building an ecosystem, they may never, ever, ever need our services, and vice versa, but you better believe when a client or somebody that I hear, who am I going to think of? My number fours, the people that I'm truly building relationships with. Then my number fives, these are mentors, people I learned from. These are the Gary V. I met him, and it was one of the greatest 15 seconds of my life when I got to do a TikTok with him. It was awesome, and thank you to Ohio Social for bringing me to the Event Planner Expo. Got them introduced to that conference. We went up together to New York City, met Gary V, made a TikTok. I still love that moment. It was great. And it was one of those where I remember, and I post this, I literally only have like 7 TikToks, and look, I am not TikTok famous. I've been vlogging because I like to vlog. It's how I communicate. Obviously, it's how I chit chat. It's been quite some time since I've been on here. And when I have those 15 seconds, you know, you get to meet and greet, and they meet so many people. And not that I needed to make an impact for him, but I wanted to create a memory for me in that moment. And I sat there, I'm like, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? Like, what do I want to say? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a big fan. Or oh my gosh, I've been vlogging too. Or oh my gosh, I like wine. This is Gary V, who I'm talking about. And you either love or hate the guy, totally fine. You have your, you know, you do you, whatever. And so that moment of getting to, one, hear him on stage was eye-opening, and I have a whole video of how, even though I've been blogging and I work with a lot of keynotes and I work events and I see presentations, Gary V got on stage, sat down on a couch like this, and had a conversation with hundreds and hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds of event professionals talking to us in conversation, and we took out nuggets, and it was not a full presentation, slide deck, it was not a panel. He had a conversation, and that was a pivotal moment as to, wait a minute, that's how I have a conversation. That is how I provide value, and it took me a really long time to recognize that, hey, if I'm receiving value from someone that communicates like that, and that's actually how I communicate, because even though I've been vlogging for a very long time, vlogging is, at least back then, right, when I had the video camera, was me documenting that way what I see, what I'm experiencing. It wasn't until smartphones came out, Instagram stories and Facebook stories, that I actually flipped the camera. And let me show you something. I talk about this quite often, and this is funny. Hold on, wait for it. Ugh. Literally, when I started to flip the camera, I have this hat. And I was Carmen San Diego for Halloween. I put this hat on my camera when I first started to flip that camera. And like Gary V, he turned the camera and can have a conversation. And when he's on camera, you know, feeling as though you're talking with your audience. And when he got on stage, and even though there were hundreds, I'm talking 500 plus event professionals easily just in that one room, that he was talking to us personally because he was having that conversation, and we gained value. And that moment that I realized, wow, that's how I have a conversation, and being able to flip that camera, have that conversation with people, and create that way of providing value through conversation. And that was the first time, and that was 2019, that I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't need to be a keynote speaker or have this whole PowerPoint. Now I do those as well. Now I do those. Now it's like, oh, I have my content. But for so long, I could just have a conversation and receive value from someone. Yet my own mindset in entrepreneurship, I couldn't comprehend that my own conversation could provide value to someone else. So I'll say that again. I could receive value from someone else, whether it be Gary Vee or a friend or someone else having a conversation with me and picking up value, yet I couldn't comprehend how my conversation with people could provide value. And that wasn't until I started my entrepreneurship journey, started networking and building an ecosystem, that having conversation, and then I understood why people want to say, hey, let's grab a coffee, let's grab lunch. All right, so building your ecosystem, that's going to help. What that's done is help create my partners, my strategic partners. So my one of my number one way that I get in front of new markets in that industry, this could work for almost any industry. Get on demos and presentations for technology and software that's serving your industry. So for instance, I love getting on new demos and having conversations with the salespeople of event platforms. Through that, I check it out. I have an intro class. They show me around. I don't know that I can use it. And through that, over the last year, I'm talking just it hasn't even been 1 year, but through my relationships, jumping on demos, building those relationships, I now am on the preferred vendor certified partner list of several of these platforms, so that when they get someone to purchase their software, me and my team now understand that platform. I'm serving them, they're serving myself, and that in itself, the platform is not my client. The platform is a software in my industry that I can then build a relationship with and say, hey, here's a checklist. Go give this to all your organizers. Hey, here's something I would love to feature you. Hey, you're doing an event, I would love to provide value. The software is not my client, but with the software and jumping on that demo and understanding who's behind the business has then opened doors, and truly building that relationship to now be a preferred vendor, not only because I understand how they can serve my clients, but we like one another within the ecosystem. So it's building a brand, it's building when you're outside of the room, building those relationships. I know, I'm chit-chatting, it's fine. That's also how I'm able to get referrals and my introductions to new people. When I'm not in the room, I wasn't even on Clubhouse, and I was getting introductions from people on Clubhouse months ago because I built relationships in my ecosystem to serve them, even in an app that I wasn't even a part of. By the way, if you're on Clubhouse now, I'm now on Clubhouse. I do it several different rooms each week. All right, so chit-chat. By the way, I'm going to do a recap. I totally will do a recap. These are just, if anything, it's a great way to get everything that's on my mind out of my mind. This is 5 years worth of just, this is a recap of 5 years, honestly, of my journey and how I've gone from, I want to leave corporate and help companies with events. The other thing I didn't mention under letting go to grow, real quick, especially when I moved here, when I opened marketing and events, it's M&E, so Michelle Nicole Enterprises, marketing and events, management and events, mindset and entrepreneurship. All my segments are M&E if you haven't caught on yet. And so real quick, one of the best things I did was eliminate and let go of many services that I personally didn't provide. And what I was doing was being a project manager of marketing campaigns. And those marketing campaigns, because my time in corporate, and my track would have been VP of marketing, CMO, and just kind of caring about all the different platforms and technology and different mediums of marketing, where my platform are events. And so when I let go of all the services that didn't relate to events, it helped me to grow tremendously. And so, yes, we can help with your landing page in relation to events. We can help create your email sequence for events. But we're not going to help when it comes to just building out email marketing as a whole. That is a component, and I can help create the email system for your event. But when I let go all of those services and all of the back and forth and all of the services that really weren't finding that fulfillment, right, I was able to then grow. And that did take some time. All right, number 2. I'm going backwards, right? So, 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we talked about, recap. Letting go to grow. We talked about that. Finding fulfillment beyond the wallet. Talking about the ecosystem, which was all long-winded. And then we talked about continuing to execute. Look, bottom line, I can say this fairly quickly, is there's a reason why I vlog. There's a reason why I continue to have 2 programs, essentially. Management in events, right? The management and execution program is me actually managing and executing that program and that event. And that service is where I vlog and I jump on a plane and I'm producing an event. I'm at the floor, of the event, working. I'm managing and executing, actually doing the things that I'm then teaching in the masterclass and events. And what the masterclass and events is a transfer of skills. It's the transfer of my knowledge and my knowing of the trends and what's working, what's not working, and following the framework. There's 5 phases. Your event clarity, defining the customer journey, how to monetize and justify that ROI, executing the 6 foundations, and the project management versus people management, right? It doesn't matter if I'm doing those things or in the masterclass teaching and showing and being the coach and the mentor, whatever terminology you really want to use when it comes to that program, is so that I can now, where I'm so excited, where I finally am, to transfer the skills of me doing the things, continuing to do the things, continuing to execute with my clients, with the selected few. These I don't even need to market publicly other than to show that I stay relevant. But those directly come from, rewind 5 minutes ago, the event platforms that I'm certified and partnered with studios and producers that I'm then partnering with marketing agencies. One of my top clients, they're a marketing agency because they do digital marketing. And then I come in, so even though I'm enemy marketing and events, I don't want to touch all the other ways to market. So anyway, being able to create and execute the events, I only need a couple of those a year. I only want a few of those a year. So that's the high ticket. And one of those clients can surpass all the weddings that I did in a whole season, right? Because that type of event is a different format. It's a different execution. So doing the things, continuing to expand my skills so that I can serve the masterclass. And these are event planners, these are other peers, these are other people taking the masterclass who are planning events, but they want to systemize. They want to extend their skills and cut through the noise and say, Michelle, there are hundreds of platforms out there. I don't know where to start. And I say, you know what? I've already done that. My team and I, we've jumped on these platforms. We know, and we're going to let you get in here and figure it out and be connected with the select few that work with the type of event that you're doing. So continuing to execute is super, super important. If you're going to teach Otherwise, you become that professor that hasn't done the thing in 20 years. And those 20 years will fly by, right? And so you want to continue to do the things that you're serving and doing so that you can expand. And as I say, platforms and tactics, they come and go, but the fundamentals, they remain the same, and the fundamentals are what creates the foundation. That's why I created the masterclass, which is based on fundamentals. And so even though this is how I've gotten through the COVID and the pandemic in an event industry, and I miss being on the floor, I miss traveling, I miss being in person. That's going to happen, it's going to come back, it is already coming back. But that is how we are able to adapt. And event people, entrepreneurs, business people, we are some of the most resilient, most adaptable people. Literally, we get paid, okay, you know those, it's like a meme, and it's like, explain what you do in a very bad way. My go-to answer is, I get paid to create scenarios that may or may never happen so that I'm prepared to execute on the things that may or may never happen so that I can execute and serve the event on the plans that may or may never happen. Literally. We plan and plan and plan and plan, but the execution is what makes a difference, and the execution is what you're adapting to, right? And so you can plan, you can be the best event planner ever, but can you execute? And so that is number 2, continue to execute. That's something, two quick stories. One, I was on YouTube the other day. I think I need to do like a whole video just on this. And it hit me. It hit me because it was a video of 5 reasons why you should not consider event planning as a career. And let me tell you, I probably hit 4 out of the 5 things why I should not consider event planning as my career. And so now I'm on a mission and I'm going to debunk that. But at the same time, I understand that event planning is different from the production. It's different from the execution. And so you have certain skill sets, which I not that I completely agree or disagree with this particular video. It was just so ironic. Things like how I manage my time and my priorities are not your typical, like someone who doesn't do events would think, oh, you're so organized. If I flip my camera, you should see I have a glass desk, I have whiteboards, I need to write things down. If it's not written down, it does not exist. And so being able to manage my time and be organized. I have my own way of doing things up here, but to be really good at planning events is not just how my brain thinks, but actually communicating so that the whole team and the ecosystem that we talked about can then execute on that vision. And so it was just a funny video because I'm like, oh, oof. Yeah, I can work on time management, but I get things done. Okay. Oh, organization. Oof. Well, that's creative chaos, we'll call it. It was just one of these videos where it's like, yeah, but no. Yeah, but no. All right, so then number 1, I'm going to keep this one really short. Oh my gosh, I've been talking about an hour, so this is good. Look, I even closed my notebook. By the way, wait, quick plug. Rocketbook. Best notebook ever. I have all my notes, but this is like a whiteboard. Number 1, I can scan right here, and it uploads, and it, when I'm not so sloppy, right, it actually converts into text to, text, like handwriting to text. But then there's a wipe. You just take the microfiber, and I can erase it. I haven't bought a new notebook in a very, very long time. Almost 2 years now. And this is actually a gift that I give to graduates of the masterclass. They also have a Panda planner that I use, and, well, it's on the other room. And so same technology where it feels like pen and paper because I need to write things down. Even though I have my project management, I use Asana. I have to write things down, but I can wipe it clean, and the Panda planner just has different templates. It's a little smaller, which I like for like my purse or working events. So anyway, little plug there. But Rocketbook, I even closed it down because I want to keep number one short, and it's live moments along the way. And so how to create the sustainability before scalability is, like I said, finding all of these things, 1 through 5, go back through. I'll write the recap, but number 1 is to live the moments along the way. This is probably one of the number 1 reasons why I continue to vlog. I don't care how many people follow. If it's an audience of 1, literally I have a podcast, which it's not really a podcast. It's more so me going on a tangent for 10 minutes. And there's an audience of 1, myself. My vlogs are a way that I document to live the moments along the way. Some people, such as my husband, he doesn't necessarily reminisce or find that fulfillment in memories. I don't understand that. Like, I really need my memories. I really need to document where I've been, where I am, where I'm going, and to live the moments along the way. And so I'm actually not a fan. I'm going to close out with this. There's that question that you get, where do you see your life in 5 years? No. I want you to ask yourself this right now. 5 years ago, where were you? Okay, close your eyes. I don't care. Don't close your eyes. I don't care. Where were you 5 years ago? And in that self, wherever you were 5 years ago, did you imagine where you are now? I really want to meet the person that is living the life that they envisioned, like how they envisioned it 5 years ago. So that question of, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I understand it gives purpose, it gives foundation. I understand live with intention and mindfulness and all those things. Sure, yes. But at the same token, live along the way, because I am so grateful for the opportunities that I didn't know were imaginable. I never would have thought 5 years ago, like I said, I'm 5 years into my entrepreneurship journey, and yeah, I could close my eyes on what do I expect, and I wanted to, work events and work with people, and, but I did not know that I'd be here in Southern Maryland, converting my guest room into my office, where I was traveling. I was in 3 time zones in one day in 24 hours last year, and then going into a pandemic. Like traveling, doing my thing, top of my game, doing all these events, working, vlogging, doing all the things, and then, right? And then the opportunities that came out of hindsight. That's a whole nother vlog, that's a whole nother topic. But if nothing else, learning how to live in the moment, really appreciate the milestones, right? Because of the stepping stones. And so we all celebrate the milestones and the big things. Celebrate the stepping stones that get you to the milestones, right? And so I know I've been yapping for like an hour, but I was just really motivated today. And so my number 1, creating the sustainability, because here's the biggest thing, and I've been saying this for years. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm a big advocate for people that want to, explore entrepreneurship. One, it's not for everyone. We touched on this earlier in the live. I work with employees. That is my clientele, and they are given a platform to show up every day and use their skill set, get paid, and even my own husband, he loves what he gets to do every single day, and he's not an entrepreneur, and that's okay. And so being able to find one is entrepreneurship or employer, whatever it may be, but then shifting from self-employed to business owner, right? And that's kind of the bridge that I'm experiencing right now, is not only being self-employed, and being self-employed Does the business own you, or do you own the business? And so being able to go across that bridge and along the way live in the moment, because I don't know what the next 5 years brings, but I've learned, and it's hard sometimes to live in the moment, but with intention, so that I have a vision where I want to be. I really connect with music and lyrics, and that's just how I have my vision board. But along the journey, to appreciate hindsight. And if you know some of my story, if you've been following the vlog, or you know how my car got stolen for 9 months when we first moved out of state, and that really was a big launching pad where, even though I was doing some virtual stuff, that really was a launching pad in 2017, going into 2018, moving out of state, getting my car stolen for it was 9 months. That's a whole nother, I can go back to the highlights. I document the whole thing. And really saying, oh my gosh, like, I live on a peninsula. It's not quite an island, but it's a peninsula. How am I going to go and leverage? Like, what are my options? And to me at the time, like, going back to corporate, that was just not what I wanted to do. And so to transition, and it was hard, and you know, I had my whole journey, and I document that. I never imagined that my car would get stolen. I didn't even know that we would end up being here in Southern Maryland. But in hindsight, going through that in some of the hardest times, retrospect, what everybody's going through, that was a hard time for me, and yet it prepared me. And sometimes what I say is you gotta be on rock bottom to build the foundation. Sometimes you get knocked down and you go through, and I will quote Sierra on this, where I love her dearly, and you gotta go through your breakdown to reach your breakthrough. And being at rock bottom. And one of my favorite songs right now is Astronaut in the Ocean, where it talks about, go listen to it, it's great, TikTok by the way, where astronauts, they train on rock bottom, literally the deepest of oceans. Astronauts train literally at rock bottom so that they can reach the highest heights. They have to train in the depths of the ocean on the rock bottom floor so that they can get to the greatest heights. Great song, by the way. So what I'm sharing is live along the moments, embrace it. I know I'm rambling. I don't even know who's, some people are jumping in, jumping out. That's great. I'm probably going to cut this down into like micro content, because I know I've been talking for quite a while. And man, those 5 things, I'm not even going to recap again, because I know we've gone over it. But that's why I also put my little vlog recap together. And anyway, I wish you all the best during your entrepreneurship journey, this mindset and entrepreneurship. Come chat with me on Clubhouse, on TikTok. I'm most active on LinkedIn when it comes to, business and connections. So check out the MNE819. If you hashtag MNE819, so Michelle Nicole Enterprises, 819, my birthday. MNE, marketing and events, is all at MNE. We do a segment every month, and this month was how we use different platforms to connect and engage. And so, yes, I'm on Facebook here and there. I know this was a super long live, but the whole point is, if we can get through, I will chop down, micro content, share it, reshare it, and anyway, I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. I need to get back to some stuff and just enjoy the rest of the night. So anyway, thank you for saying hello, goodbye, hello, and I will see you online.